Governor Greg Abbott is welcoming Tesla Motors, the vehicle company, to Texas. And he said something interesting. He said, Tesla is one of the most exciting, blah, 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 blah. Texas has the best workforce in the nation, and we've built an economic environment that allows companies like Tesla to innovate and succeed. We've built. Now, Patrick, you're pretty keen whenever somebody says we to point out that there is a, you call it a royal we, right? You want to give somebody a rundown? What does it mean whenever they say we?
Well, he's collectivizing a whole lot of people that have nothing to do with anything he's talking about, and he's taking credit for a lot of stuff that he has nothing to do with, and that, if anything, the government in this area has just stood in the way of. And when he says allows companies to succeed, that is like a twisted, really like inverse way of using that word. Like, he has nothing, he should have no right to allow or deny anything. Now, if he was using it as like the people are, creating an environment of prosperity, that's just to the degree that the government has stayed out of the business here in Texas. And it's one of the better places to have a business in terms of, like, if you rank order all the states in the country in order of sort of business freedom, it's on the top end of that list, certainly not at the top. But that has nothing to do with his collective, his we. Like, I'm not part of that we, man. I'm just here trying to be left alone and do my own thing.
And here's some evidence of that. So he put out Executive Order GA-28. This was on June the 26th. Oh, yeah, June 26th at 8:45 in the morning. That'll come into play later. He basically goes on to write, much like Trump does, that every business establishment in Texas shall operate at no more than 50% of the total listed capacity or total listed occupancy of the establishment. Bear in mind, we are proud to welcome them to Texas because we've built an economic environment that allows them to innovate and succeed by, I don't know, cutting their maximum revenue in half if you have something like a bar, a restaurant, etc. Now, I did want to give him some credit. Let's see, I think it was like paragraph 15. It was down on page 4. Nothing in this executive order, blah, 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 blah. People are encouraged to wear appropriate face coverings, the mask orders, but no jurisdiction can impose a civil or criminal penalty for failure to wear a face covering. Bear in mind, this is on June 26th at 8:45 a.m. Not too long later, he publishes Executive Order GA-29. And in Executive Order GA-29, published, let's see, July 2nd at 2:30 p.m. So what is that, 7 days and some hours? He actually strikes. Like, I've never seen morality so quickly reverse. Let's see where it was. It was towards the bottom. Here we go. Following, basically, this whole thing is about people must wear mask coverings, and you must practice a social distancing, or recommended to practice social distancing. You will be given a verbal or written warning for first-time violations of this face covering requirement. A second violation shall be punishable of a fine of $250. Well, that's in direct contradiction of this right here. No one should be able to give you a fine for violating this, right? Here we go. No jurisdiction can impose a civil or criminal penalty for failure to wear a face covering. No problem. We're going to fix that. In the next sentence, local law enforcement and other local officials, as appropriate, can and should enforce this executive order, as well as local restrictions, blah, 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 blah. But then he rolls back. Executive Order GA-28 is hereby amended to delete from paragraph number 15 the phrase, but no jurisdiction can impose a civil or criminal penalty for failure to wear a face covering. So this magnanimous, wonderful, and by the way, this welcoming to Texas was published on July 22nd. The banning of 50% of your revenues was in June 26th. That's almost a month beforehand. And then the rollback on the penalties is also recanted on July 2nd. So all of this welcoming, we're a great place, we've built an economic environment that allows people to innovate and succeed, I call malarkey because they rolled that all back before they ever issued the welcome letter. I have never seen morality go from this is bad, this is evil, we won't do this bad, evil thing because, no one can do that. 28 orders have been issued, and so far we're not going to do any of that because we think that's wrong. And then a week later, fuck it. Write the tickets. You can and should enforce this executive order. Go forth, my minions. Fly, my pretties.
Yeah, one day it's illegal and immoral to attack you for something, and the next day it's perfectly fine and expected and even demanded. It's insane. Shelley says, "Oh my, the mask thing. My partner says it's not that big of a deal, but I'm extremely bothered by the turnaround like this." Yeah, it is interesting. I did a show on it recently where we were trying to support a bar. You can go back and look for this. We were trying to support a bar that was defying a closure order at the time, but they didn't want our help because I was wearing the wrong type of mask. Yeah.
This made me think of the scene in Atlas Shrugged whenever John Galt is being put on TV in front of the world to say, "Hey, I'm going to provide power for you guys. Everything's going to be all right." But they literally have a gun stuck to his side. And well, let me just show you this if you don't mind putting me up full screen. So basically, they're saying, "Hey, everybody, John Galt is going to give us electric power, given free, produce some sort of motor that we've never seen before. All you got to do is be patient a little while longer." Skip down a little bit. "Ladies and gentlemen, John Galt, to the collective family of mankind." The camera moved to Galt. He remained still for a moment. Then, with so swift and expert a movement that his secretary's hand was unable to match it, he rose to his feet, leaning sideways, leaving the pointed gun momentarily exposed to the sight of the world. Then, standing straight, facing the cameras, looking at all of his invisible viewers, he said, "Get the hell out of my way." This is a lesson, this right here, exposing the gun momentarily to the sight of the world and telling people to get out of your way. This is a lesson that we can take today as far as whenever someone says, "I believe that something should be mandatory." Okay, do you mean mandatory like people should be killed over it? No. I just mean something less mandatory than that. Do you mean people should go to jail for it? No. Maybe like a fine, maybe like $250 only on the second offense. The first offense, just a verbal warning like, "Hey, put on your mask." The second offense, $250 fine. Okay, well, what happens if somebody doesn't pay that fine? I don't know. Whatever happens. That's up to them to pay the fine. But here's the thing. Whenever somebody issues a fine, whenever somebody says it's mandatory, it's obligatory, there's a law, there's a mandate. If you don't concede, at some point, the government will escalate that force until you submit or until you are attacked. Whenever you are attacked, you have the option to submit or die. Okay? Not cool stuff. And I think it's important for people to realize the gun in the room, as so many people have brought out. And I just thought this was a lovely reminder that the gun pointed momentarily, exposed to the sight of the whole world. This is exactly what's happening right now with all the tyrants coming around and saying, "Do as I say or else I will attack you." I don't remember which governor it was. It was someone on the East Coast saying to restaurants, or bars, because over 51% gross sales, then you're classified something different than under 51% gross sales of alcohol. He said, "Chicken wings are not substantial enough to be considered food. You must have at least sandwiches." And it's like, what are you talking about? What an arbitrary distinction.
And who the hell is he to make that decision for everyone?
The arbiter of truth and goodness. Let me tell you.
It's a lot of what we do. Like, we just sit here and we point out the stupid tyrants making death threats on people that no one notices are death threats. That's our thing right now, because it's all that's happening, it seems like. Conduct a transaction with your rightfully owned property with TikTok. There's a threat there. If you don't know that the threat is there, put it in the comments and I'll show you the threat. Okay, now I'm ready.
There you go. Put me up full. I got you covered.
All right, you do it.
Hey, everybody, if you enjoyed the content that you liked, go to disenthrall.me. That's DISENTA. Well, you can spell it and then go over to our content or support us. You can become a subscriber, and then you'll be able to see everything for the rest of time, or at least as long as you're a subscriber. Because this thing that you're watching right now, whether it's on YouTube or any of the other streaming platforms, it's going to be gone in like a few minutes.
Yeah. So basically
that's my pitch.
The full live stream is going to be reserved for our supporters. If you want to go to disenthrall.me/support, you can become a supporter. You can see the full live stream. And for everybody else in the general public, we're just going to be clipping out the good stuff and releasing that publicly on all the normal platforms.